All right, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the Super Bowl Sunday. Hope you guys will have some time to watch and have fun. I don't give a shit about who's going to win, but looks like somehow the referees keep giving it to Chiefs, so we'll see. um, we have 3 plus 3 here, 6, so we're wasting quite a bit here still. Unfortunately, we don't have time to waste, okay? So let's do a quick do a thumbs up or raise your hands if you're done with all the homework so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Homework is important. Okay, looks like everybody's done with the homework. Homework is very important. I just can't emphasize enough. Okay. All right. Today we're going to start with ACT Science. Go ahead and get your notebook, please. You're going to be writing down stuff. And again, I'm going to give you guys some time for you to write things. So your job is to now put your pencils down and just listen up, okay? You'll have enough time to write this. So today we'll start with ACT Science. So remember, this is the last section of the test. You've done 45 minutes of English, 60 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of break, 35 minutes of reading, and then you're about to start another 35 minutes of science. Please remember, you'll be supremely tired by this time if you have not done practice for this. So our students average between 3 to 5 practice tests, full practice tests before they take the real test. Our best students have done 8. Okay? It's how your body feels taking long tests is a lot different than what you're used to in school, where you spit it out in 35, 45 minutes and you get 100%. This is not the same case. So I'm going to make it very clear. Taking individual practice tests is important, but taking the full practice test is doubly important. So if you want to get a 30 in ACTs, you need to know how much effort you have to put in. If you want to get a 36 in ACT, you need to know how much effort you have to put in. So it's more of a kind of exponential increase from every point after 28. Your efforts have to be exponential. It's okay? So just like reading, ACT Science is 35 minutes. Used to be 7 passages, now it is 6 passages, 40 questions. So if you do the math, you get 52.5 seconds per question. Same with reading as well. So you have less than a minute per question, but trust me, it goes way faster than you feel. Okay, this is nothing. Boom, it's done. Next, as I said, it's the last sections of the test. As I said, you'll be very, very tired. You'll be very, very tired. So 2 key words to remember to be successful in science. Staying focused during the test. Of course, easy to say that, but hard to do. Then, full test practice. If you have not done either one of those, you're going to have a pretty strong cliff for science course. I remember I had a student from Heelan, Bishop Heelan, which is a local school in Sioux City. Very, very smart kid. Eventually, she ended up getting a 36. She got in first time she got a 35 in English, 34 in math, a 34 in reading, a 24 in science. Because I asked her like why, she's like, I just gave up. I had no energy left. And that's pretty typical what we hear. Aiden, you have taken ACT, right? A couple times? Mm-hmm. So tell me loudly so that others can hear. What are you feeling when you are about to start the science test?
I'd say for me, I get frustrated a lot easier. That was my biggest downfall. Like I'll be like reading one of the questions and I'll be like, okay, why can't I remember where this was, or why can I not find this in the graphs? And really, what would happen I would get frustrated, and that would just be my downfall.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, if you're used to that, part of the frustration is as a process by taking full test practice. That moment won't be a surprise for you. right? If your body is used to reacting that way, one time, second time, third time, fourth time, you're like, you know what? This is it. This is what I am. So you start accepting that type of behavior or those moments, and then going forward, you'll be much more relaxed actually. And you know, okay, you know what? I just don't know this question. I'm going to move on. That's called maturity. That's what this practice does. Is the how you mature into taking these tests changes as you take more practice tests. Sounds good? All right. Next, this is not a science test. This is a science reasoning test. What's the difference? In a science test in a school, they'll ask you H2 plus O2, it gives you what, right? A chemical reaction, and you expect it to know it. Here, they will give you the information, H2 plus O2 is H2O. They'll ask you to look into the passage and say, what do you infer from this? Where is this information in the passage? Okay? So the information is given to you. You have to reason this out. Science reasoning test. Sounds good? So you don't have to have any prior knowledge of science actually. I remember one of, not my student, not our student by the way, she was from Omaha. In 7th grade, she got a 36 in science. Does she know chemistry, biology, physics? No, she doesn't. But she was able to comprehend the passage, reason it out to answer the question. Okay? And one of the major focuses on data analysis, right? They will give you data, graphs, and stuff like that. We'll talk that. Go ahead and write on this. It's called Science Reasoning Test. All right, okay. So, if you, before we go into strategies and stuff like that, and I'll tell you why our students have done well is the strategy we're going to talk today, but I want to give a little bit more information to you guys. So if I plot a graph of the difficulty level and the number of questions in math, okay? I can actually almost linearly draw a graph like this. The first 20, easy. Next 20, little difficult. And last 20, very hard. Okay? So needless to say, you want to start here and go in this direction. Okay? Makes sense, right? You want to get easier questions done. That's not the case for science. So if you do the difficulty level and the passage numbers, it depends from test to test. Like based on what I heard from yesterday's test, I think Aiden took the test, right? So you can have the first passage very easy, second passage very difficult, third passage medium, fourth very easy, fifth very easy, sixth very hard. So you can have a graph that's like this. Or you can have a situation where the first passage is very hard, second is very hard, third is almost hard, but 4, 5, 6 are very easy. Sounds good? Yeah.
Is there any like pattern where it's like there will be two that are like super hard or like,
There's nothing you can say based on given a test. It changes from test to test. I'll remember October 2019. Passage 1, 2, 3 were the hardest. 4, 5, 6, 7, there were 7 at the time, were the easiest. So, math, I would start with question number 1 and go in this direction because there's nothing to think. That's how it's designed. Science is not designed a certain way. You have to decode it before you start the science passages. That's what we're going to do, is the strategies, okay? So, put your pencils down, listen up. This is important for you guys. This is what New Horizon has been doing this for 16 years. Now, when you're ready to start the science test, okay, for the first 45 seconds, okay, give and take a little bit. First job is to scan all passages, physically flipping the pages. If it's online, you can just click, click, click and see, okay? That's in 45 seconds, and all 6 of them. When you're scanning all passages, you're looking for graphs, okay? More graphs, better it is, okay? So graphs are good. Pictures are good. Okay? Tables are not good. Okay? Reading, if there is a passage which has a lot of reading, that's not good. And if it's only reading and no graphs, no pictures, this is called discussion passage, also called as conflicting viewpoint passages. And this must be done last. Okay? So it's 45 seconds, you're scanning all 6 passages, looking for, hey, more graphs, good for me. More pictures, good for me. Tables are not good for me. Reading is definitely not as good for me because it takes time. And if it's only reading, there is nothing, graphs, pictures, nothing, then you want to do that last. Next. For tables, there's going to be 2 types of tables. One is based on the size, small tables versus large tables. Your job is to pick small tables. 2 small tables are better than 1 large table. Sounds good? Because you can find the information faster. Next, data tables versus words or phrases. You want to pick the data tables. So you're looking for small data tables when you're selecting tables, okay? What is the intention of doing all these things? The intention of all these things is to select 2 passages out of the 6. Okay? So there is 1 through 6. You scan in 45 seconds looking for this information, and you will be deciding, oh, I'm going to do 3 and 6. A 3 and 6 is not the same as 6 and 3. Because you always want to start with the easiest passage first. So you're decoding this graph to this, you're rearranging the passages to fit in this profile. So what is the intention of all these things is to select only 2 passages. And then you go to the questions, and we'll talk about that later on. Then after the 2 passages are done with all the questions, then you select the next 2 using the same criteria. So we do what's called a 2-2-2 approach. You with me on this? At any given point, you do 2 passages. Students have asked a lot of questions. Why 2? Why not only 1? If you go back to, if you do 1 at a time, you're going to eat up this time. So it's a fine balance between balancing time and the difficulty level. Go ahead and write this. Make your own notes. Okay? Yeah.
So when you pick two, do you like flip back and forth between them and like, or how do you like do the questions? Do you like all one question, then the next one?
Yeah, so let's say I've selected 3 and 6 in that order. Order is important. So I would go to passage 3, finish those questions. Then go to passage 6, finish the questions. Then look for the next 2. Make sense? So check mark means it's good for us. These are the ones you want to start with. Okay. More questions you ask, more you're going to learn. Okay. Any questions so far? So are you understanding what you're supposed to do?
Yeah.
Online students, do you understand what you're supposed to do? Okay. Because the last thing we want is a confusion on this. Okay? Either you know it completely or you'll be in for a big surprise. So, by the end of this semester, listen to this carefully, we want 80% of the students to pick the first 3 passages correctly. 80%. Then you know we have done enough practice. Sounds good? All right. Any questions one more time on this? All right. Go and get this book, please. Everybody.
Here's one question.
Yeah, please.
What was the difference between the first reading and the second reading?
In the first reading, you'll have a little bit of something at least. But there will be passages, like you'll see much of the reading, but they may have one picture, a little picture. But there will be passages where you'll have nothing, just like a reading. It resembles a reading passage. That should be done last. So if you see like the whole page and there's like one small table, then you know it's almost like a reading passage. But that still is better than having nothing at all. Sounds good?
No,
Yeah.
I got a different book. Like,
You bought a wrong book. You had the red book.
Like the bag it came, like, when I got my new books, it was like this purple book.
That's for your brother.
I promise, this is the book that came, because it was like the first day we pulled out these red books, and like the one that I was supposed to have was this purple book.
Okay. Have you
I swear.
been writing in that one and stuff? just hold on to that one, okay?
Okay.
Actually, I'll take it back, and then we'll figure out some way, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna talk to your mom and see if maybe the books got replaced, but
Okay.
you don't need this book.
All right. Okay.
You need the red book.
I was just it was like the first day we pulled it out. I'm like, I know I grabbed the right book that right
Okay.
back that first day.
Maybe we screwed it up as well, so it happens. You guys good? Okay. Sorry, Adam, by the way. So, apologies for that one.
That's okay.
All right, go ahead and open page number, everybody. 80. 80. All right. Ready? Okay. So this is a science test. Okay? Again, this is the first time you guys are doing this, so it's going to take time, okay? So your job is to select 2 passages, right? That's all you have to do using this criteria. As this is the first time, I'm going to give you guys a good minute and a half. Okay, and you will be making mistakes this time, okay? Because this is the first time. What I'm going to ask after this is, what are the 2 passages you have selected? All right? 1.5 minutes, your time starts now. Don't rush, you have time. Look at the criteria again. Use your common sense.
Who wants to choose 3, correct?
Two.
Oh, the first 2.
The order is important. All right, time's up. Okay? Remember, it's 45 seconds. I've doubled this. So I want everyone to answer this. This is how we're going to practice it, okay? So I'm going to start with online students. Ian, what are the 2 you picked?
I picked passage 1 and passage 2.
Okay, Aditya?
Oh, I went with 3 and 5.
Okay. Shaylee?
3 and 5.
Kushank?
3 and 5.
We have, I think we have 2 of Kushank. Okay, same. Okay, how about you?
3 and 5.
How about you?
I did 3, 5.
I did 3, 6.
Okay, so we have a lot of 3 and 5s, which is really good start actually. Somebody said 1 and 2. Ian, you said, I can tell you just by looking at 1, I wouldn't be picking 1 because they are tables. Tables are not good for you. Okay, so 1, 2 is not good. Tables. 3 is good. There are graphs, there's picture, there's a little reading. 4 is all reading. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I forgot one last.
5, small tables, a little picture, a little reading. 6 have 2 tables. My pick is 3 and 5. This is so important. You might think it's, and I've repeated this for 16 years, the more than 6,500 students. This is not something for you to be taking this lightly. This is a big deal because this can make a difference of 2 to 3 net points in science. That's almost a 1 composite point increase just by this strategy. So if you're laissez-faire about this, you are going to be screwed. I think this is probably the first time in many years where an advanced group has had so many students pick the right two. Okay? On page 80 at the top, I would like you to write 3 and 5 because we want to be all on the same page. Of course, I gave you guys more time. That's a different story.
Was that 45 seconds?
No, that was 90
I was
seconds.
gonna say, that was a while.
Okay. All right, you guys good? So in the real test, you will go to passage 3, do it, then 5, do it. And that's what we're going to talk about that strategy later on. But now we are only doing selecting the passages. Now, let's get to a little test mode. I'm going to give you guys now 40 seconds. And you'll have to select the next two. Remember, all I've selected 3, 5. Your time starts now. That only the next two. This is important. All right, time's up, 40 seconds. You start.
6 and 2. 6 and 2.
6 and 1.
Online students, Ian,
6 and 2.
Aditya,
6 and 2.
Shirley,
6 and 1.
Krishank.
6 and 1.
Okay, so we have a 6-2, 6-1 split here. That's interesting.
They both have like one has just a big graph and a big table and a little table, and the other one has equally sized tables.
Okay.
I said 1 because of the big table.
Mine would be 6-1. Okay. Only reason is passage 2 has words, phrases in the table number 2. Look at this. You select small data tables. Is it too far apart between 1 and 2? No, they're damn close. Sounds good? So if you had a 6-2 or a 6-1, not a whole lot of problems. But if you had gone with a 6-1 or 6-2 to begin with instead of 3-5, then I would have a problem with it. Okay? So write down, just for all to be on the same page here, 3-5, 6-1. And I think you guys can tell me the next two, which is pretty easy now. 2 and 4.
2 and 4, because 2 has is it
4 is it's reading.
4 is the contribute.
Yeah, 4 will be the last one.
Yeah, 4 would be last.
Sounds good?
Yes.
So 3-5, 6-1, 2-4. See, I want to answer your question now. When we asked about when we talked about the difficulty level, 3-5, 6-1, 2-4. Let's imagine we did not know this strategy. You would have started with 1, 2, 3. 3-5, 6-1, 2-4. See that the passage 2, which would be the almost last category of passage I would do, you'd be doing second. What happens? Those passages will take more time, deplete your concentration, build up your frustration, and that's when it's a slippery slope. So what we call this as a science code. Okay? Remember, you'll be doing 2 at a time. Just because you want to practice it here as a team, we are doing this together. Sounds good? In the real world, in the real test, it'll be 3-5, finish, 6-1, finish, and 2-4. Sounds good? Any questions? All right, let's keep it moving. Open page number 370. All right. Everybody ready? 370? Yes, no?
Yes.
All right. Here's what's going to happen now. We are going to get into the real, like a real test is. You have 45 seconds for the first two. Your time starts now. First two. Time's up. 45 seconds. This will go faster than what you feel. Okay? I can tell you right now. And you have to practice so many times that you need to know, because I've seen, I would say, 1 in 5 student has forgotten to do this because they are under extreme stress. They just have complete. It happened in 2013 for the first time, I remember. Her name was Becca. Yeah.
I have the first.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have the first 4, but do you want the
No, I just need only the 2.
Okay.
Only the 2.
6 and 3?
6 and 2.
Okay. It can change. Don't change. You stick to your answer.
6 and 3.
Okay, online students, you can go.
6 and 3. 1 and 3. 6 and 3.
1 and 3.
Okay. Hands down, 6 would be the first one. And absolutely no chance on this one. Okay. Hardly anything to read and simple graphs. Graphs are your best friends in science. You get to that answer. I know somebody said 1, 3, 6 would be a slam dunk. Okay. And now they had 6, 1 and a 6. Some said 6, 1, some said, sorry,
6, 2, 6, 3.
6, 2 and 6, 3. Okay. I would not go with 1. Somebody said 1, 3. So 1 is pretty long reading, quite a bit. I would go with 3. Even though 2 is extremely small, do you see? Look at the table 1. Look at table 1. I'm not asking you to be that particular in the real test to observe, but look at all this B, E in different alphabets, upper case, lower case. There has to be a reason why that is so small, because there's going to be tricks attached to it in tables. So the simple way to remember is tables are nice and cute, but they screw you later. Okay, so don't fall for it yourself. All right, so you want to write down 6, 3. Again, we all want to be on the same page here. Okay. You have 25 seconds to select the next 2. Your time starts now. 6, 3 selected already. Time's up. All right. Let's go with the online students. What is the next 2 you picked?
I did 5 and 2.
Okay. Next.
5 and 4.
5 and what?
4.
5 and 4. Okay.
2 and 5.
2 and 5.
5 and 4. 2 and 5.
5 and 1.
Okay. So it's 5 and 2 and 5 and 1, right? Is the comparison?
2 and 5.
5, 2, okay, 5, 2.
Yeah, I was kind of fighting with myself with 5 and 1, 5 and 2. But I saw the pictures and like the picture before, graph and table.
Pretty tough to select here, honestly speaking. Hmm. I would go with 5-2, but I'm totally okay with 2-5. Okay? Very close. Again, this is not exact science, right? It's your perception. And in the real test, you have nobody else to compare with. So the goal is to practice enough that the first 3 are correct by the 80% of the students. That's how we're going to practice. So again, just for our simplicity, we're going to write down 5-2. But again, this is not exact science here, okay? 6-3, 5-2. So tell me the last two now.
1 and 4.
I would go with 1 and 4.
Even though 1 has all the reading.
Yeah, but 4 has tables.
No.
Again, this is where the judgment, the common sense comes into picture. So do you think somebody is going to hold you against by saying 4-1? No. But if you didn't pick 6 to begin with, then I can tell you, you're going to be in trouble.
Not to like argue with you, but this one is like a convicting viewpoint, isn't it? Isn't that what we're supposed to do last? Like passage 1?
Passage 1 is conflicting waypoints, but remember in the real test, you will not have time to go look into that small details, but it's the feel, it's a look of we are going with. One more thing I want to put it right there. This is something I'm going to change the strategy. Actually, this was not planned in the class, but I'm going to do it. Let's say you go with 6 and 3, and you start with passage. Listen to this. This is important. I think I should. I usually do it at the last day of the class, but I'm going to do it this time first. When you start with passage 6 and 3, but you start with passage 6, and you figure out, my God, it's really hard, and I fell for it. Okay? At that time, you're going to completely skip passage 6 and go to passage 3, and have moved the 6th all the way to the end. I repeat, if you come across a passage where literally passage like the one you were talking, Aiden, it was very, very hard, then I would actually skip the entire passage, move it all the way. And it has happened here. I think it happened for one of the passages where it looks so simple. And everybody took like on average 13 minutes. I was like, what's going on? Then when I did the passage, I'm like, we fell for it. But it's very rare. I would say 1 in 10 times we may be wrong. Especially the first 3, we usually are not wrong at all. Sounds good? Okay. All right, now, so we did 2 practice tests, right? The third one will be interesting. What we're going to do is, I'm going to give you guys a total of 1 minute, okay? Page 500. All right, you'll have 1 full minute, and you'll have to select the first 2, the next 2, and the next 2. Okay, and we'll be sharing this only after all 6 are selected, and you'll have only 1 minute for that one. Your time starts now. Time's up. Okay. I know that one of the students has joined late to the class. Still able to connect. Okay. Anybody who is hold on, let's see if we can. All right. So I want you guys to read your all the 6 slowly so others can hear you. Okay. Go ahead.
362154.
3, 6.
2154.
Okay.
362154.
What? You both are same? Okay.
That wasn't on purpose, I promise.
Okay. All right.
I also have 362154.
That's scary. Okay. By the way, we had one student who joined late. What I would like you to do is to make sure to watch the recording and practice this. You'll see the recording, and I think it'll be easy. But make sure you watch this particular recording from the beginning. Okay. Online students, go ahead, please. Ian.
365214.
365214. So you had 362514, right? Right?
362154.
36.
2154.
Ian, what did you have? 36.
365214.
Okay. Okay. A little different. Okay. Aditya.
361254.
Okay. Shelly.
362145.
Late change. Prashank.
361254.
But 36 was the first was correct, right? I think all had 36. That's very rare. Very rare. And do that. So it looks like you guys, there should be an easy passage then. Let's see. Yeah, 3 is okay. I see that. 3, 6, huh? Okay. Interesting. I don't have 3, 6. 3 for sure. Five is pretty good for me. Okay. 3, 6. All right. What is it next? 3, 6. What is the next two?
21.
2, 1. 2 is not bad at all. 1 is okay. Yeah, not bad at all. 5, 4. Yeah, 4 is last. Okay, tell me why you guys picked 5 at almost the end of the.
While I was scanning, I saw it said there's like 3 different studies, so I'm just assuming that that's gonna be like some conflict. So I was.
Not necessarily. Usually the conflicting viewpoints is usually for scientists. Scientist 1, scientist 2, scientist 3. They are conflicting each other. Not study 1, study 2, study 3.
Okay.
They are different conditions of the experiment. So,
I picked
yeah.
6 over 5 just because 6 there was like a little less reading, but also like I figured with all the pictures the questions would be a lot easier. I could like instead of reading the whole thing I could just skim, and then there's all these graphs that like were pretty easy to understand.
I feel between 5 and 6, the reading material is the same. But 5 has only 3 graphs, which is good. This has graphs and pictures, which is not bad at all. But what I'm saying is you'll have more information to gather to write it, get an answer. Let me tell you, I would have gone with 3, 5. Let me put it this way. 3, 5. I would have gone with 352164. Okay? Again, don't change. That stays what you have, okay? So when you get to this passage in this test, we are going to go with what you have, okay? This is everybody can be different because it can see. But the goal is to get as many, especially the first three, correct as possible, okay? All right, moving on. So we spent all this time selecting the passage, right? Now we're going to talk about how to answer the questions, okay? Open page number 500 and read the directions there. Okay, look at the word best answer, right? So the first thing you're looking in science is you're looking for best answer. May not be the correct answer. So 2 plus 2 is 4, correct answer. The color of this polo is blue, is the best answer. Doesn't mean it's the correct answer, okay? So out of the 4 choices, you have to look for the one based on how the author is thinking, not how you are thinking, okay? Next, this is important. When you go to the passage, let's say in this case 3, this is our recommendations, okay? If you may not agree to this one specifically, but this is what we're going to recommend. Go directly to question number 1 of that passage. You are not reading the material. You are not reading the passage. You're actually going to question, okay? Because you don't have time to read the passage, okay? Question number 1 of the passage is usually the easiest. Okay? Remember this graph here? So if I take this graph for that passage, usually it follows this way. Is it always? No. But usually I've seen question number 1 of the passage is usually the easiest. Next, if it says according to figure 1, the answer is in figure 1, nowhere else. Sounds good? Don't look for anywhere else. They are telling you because they know time is less. Sounds good? Next. When you're answering by graphs, let's say there's a graph like this, and let's say there's something like this, okay? Let's say they're asking you, what is the concentration of a chemical at a certain time? So you gotta try to draw straight lines, okay? Okay, draw straight lines as straight as possible, and most importantly, look for the units, the labels on the X and the Y axis. So let me tell you what happened. There is a question number 1, which was very easy. It was about bacterial count, okay? What people did not see is the answer was 1, 10, 100, 100,000 or something like the answers were. On y-axis, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in the label, they had given times 10 raised to 5, like this. And students did not see this. So the answer was 1. They selected 1. It was 1 into 10 raised to 5. Sounds good? And look at, is it linear or non-linear graph in terms of y-axis and x-axis? Is it 1, 10, 100, or is it 1, 2, 3, 4, or the 2, 4, 6, 8, and so forth? So look at the units, the labels of the x and y-axis, and draw straight lines when you have to do extrapolations. Sounds good? Go ahead and write on this. Next one is we skip a question if it is taking too much time. You really don't have time to sit and think about it. One more point. For reading passages, it is okay to read the passage. For rest, prefer scanning. So for these two, you may have to actually read it. Sounds good? But your goal is to scan it because you do not have time. So don't read every word and waste your time because you just don't have it. Sounds good? Any questions?
What does the word before scanning in the bottom right say?
Prefer.
Oh.
The one thing I want to leave you guys today, something for you guys to remember this, and remember this really well. If you want to use this strategy, use it as a whole, right? Don't pick and choose. If you want to do your own strategies, that's not something we're going to force you guys to change it. But don't piecemeal this. Oh, I'm going to take this strategy, but I'm going to do this. You can't do that. Either take it as a whole or do what you feel is comfortable. Sounds good? So what we did today was talk about strategies, how to select passages, and then strategies, how to answer. When we start with the science passages practice, you guys we're going to remind ourselves about all these things before we get started. Have a good game today. Enjoy your game, and Rika will be here. So take a 5 minutes break, okay? See you guys next week. Straight down the hallway to the left.